All right, so Flex and the COM course. We have our main Flex Learning webpage here. It's on the WRC page under Programs in the menu. And you can see we've got all of our courses there, and you can see what we're up to with COM there and the links to the latest pieces. You can always email. And just so you know where to find the basics. So we have two versions of COM. As you can see, we have COM independent, COM structured, and our first pieces of COM Canny. So I wanted to make sure I could show you where all those things were. So COM independent has 5 credits. It adds the 3 for COM, CTR 1010 into the career section, and COM 1255, learning in an online environment. Then we have COM structured, which is 4 credits, and it takes off the COM 1255 because it uses less online tools, but it can be completely online as well. I'm looking at more flexibility inquiry projects versus a little more follow this structure. Here's a little more step by step. So looking at different types of learners and depending on how they want to look at their credit earning. COM K&E, we're really looking at probably just the 3 credits. There is one piece that we can add in that gets you the CTR 1010 because that's CTR 1010 is often a prereq for work experience pieces. So it's still an important course. And it's a good way to work it into students' work. So COM Independent has 3 sections and have one open. So as COM goes, it's usually organized by personal, financial, or sometimes that's called resources, and the career section. And this page walks through an overview of each section. It also has a checklist for each one and then a link to all the lessons and activities. The checklist is really nice because it's a one-page document that kind of allows students to figure out what they've done and what they've not done. So as a checklist opens here, you can see, and it also links to different things, which is really useful. So the first section is done in a community, which is a Google Plus community. Oh, let's zoom the other way. Oh, goodness. Sorry. You get a good sense of what it looks like from above then. And you can see they have to post in all these different areas. They have to do a post in the emotional wellness area, social, intellectual, spiritual, physical health, sexual health, technology, media, and balancing wellness. So it's all about wellness. And the idea is they need to put a post with a link to some kind of a resource, whether it's a link to a website, whether it's a document, whether it's, and some are better at linking to other things than others. So you can see we really want them to go out and find some things. And then as part of it, they also have to comment on somebody else's. So they have both assignments. And it's partly getting used to a social environment, but it's getting that discussion piece that's so important about COM into an online place. And Google Plus is part of the Google Apps domain. There's lots of other ways you could do it, but we really liked Google Plus for this. The second section we actually did in a Google Classroom. Zoom back into this one as well. And if we whitelist domains, we can easily give you a copy of all of this. So it's broken down into sections, and this is getting used to another platform. But part of the COM 1255 is a digital fluency piece. So looking at all sorts of different tools and how to learn online. And so we do give them credit for learning all of these different tools. So they look at needs versus wants. We look at informed consumerism, and then we look at financial projects, and they have 2 different ways they can do that project. One is through the eyes of an alien that just landed on Earth and how to figure out all this money stuff, and one is using their own set of circumstances. We find grade 9, grade 10, grade 11 students, not that grade 9s really should be doing this course, tend to take on that one, whereas the grade 12s know more about their finances and actually have finances to deal with, so they often go that direction. The third section in COM Independent is done off of this website, futurestory20.weebly.com. And we use a lot of My Blueprint. So a lot of this stuff is fill out this section in My Blueprint because we really like that. They build an e-portfolio and they do an exit interview at the end. So these are important pieces on dealing with the workplace, and this gets and looking at old versus new resumes, building a resume, looking at a LinkedIn profile. Philosophy of happiness, that's a really fun way to look at what kids really like out of life. So traditional career stuff, but also some really neat things where they link to videos and then they post back in their community. So that first section, exploration, they post back in the community here, and the topics line up here. So if we look at the humans need not apply, it links across. They watch some videos, which are really neat ones, and then they post to their community. So that's COM independent. COM structured, we have done as 3 Google Docs. So there's student links, and then there's teacher links. And feel free to have a look at it, make your own copy, make it your own. We also did a grading spreadsheet, so it auto-calculates. There's also a really nice one here, and this is one of the starts of K&E, to look at guest speakers, especially for the financial option, and bring in some local experts. And so this was the outline that one of our outreaches did for it. And I wanted to share that as well, because it was a guest speaker and a little bit of reflection, and that reflection can be written or can also be have a conversation. So that was the first piece of what a K&E could really look like, but also really in an alternative environment. So when you look at these, each one is a Google Doc. The student one forces them to make a copy, which is really good. So I'll open this one. Let's go to careers one from a teacher point of view. And it is really nice because it's printable, but it's also a Google Doc. So they can do some on paper, they can do some online. It can be a combination, or it can just be print and go. So it has their overview, and then each of these links down to an assignment. So for example, with career choices, it links down to the career choice assignment. Anything that's a hyperlink has QR codes, so they can scan it if they're doing it on paper, and they can write in the box, or they can type in the box. And it does link to websites, but they don't necessarily have to use them, but it's a good place to have resources. The resume we do, and the cover letter, we do want them to use in a word processing format, so I didn't leave room to write for that one. And then there's a choice at the end of a portfolio or philosophy of happiness. So we don't give them, it's a little more streamlined, and then the exit interview at the end there. But you can see that there's room to write and there's boxes to write in. So it's a little more structured, do this here, do this here. The first one, you can see the mark breakdown that we do. So 25-25, careers 30 because it's got the portfolio piece. It's a little bit bigger of a module, has more learning outcomes, and then the exit interview 20. And in COM section 3, there is the exit interview. The questions and the rubric are there, and rubrics are linked for each of these as well. The rubrics you can also find in the grading spreadsheet, which is from a teacher point of view, and the spreadsheet can be made a copy for each student and then shared. Give that a second to open there because there's tabs along the bottom. So you can see there's the topic 1, topic 2, and you can see rubrics are linked, and it auto-calculates, and then the overall grades and how that pulls into the extra CTR 1010 credit as well. So it is a really structured piece for kids. Now, when we look at COM K&E, especially at this first section, this whole reflection response piece can all be done orally. So there's an autobiography, which can be done in a lot of different ways. And then it gets the next set of assignments are a resource and a reflection on what emotional wellness is. And all of these pieces can be done so they can talk through emotional wellness. Then they can hear something. We love to use the Read Write for Google Toolbar and have these things be able to be read out for students, which is really helpful. And then they can respond to them all orally. So that's how we're trying to give more options. So use the structured version, try and use more guest speaker options, especially for the financial section, and talk to these people, and use more oral options. So the career section, we really, really narrowed down. So it's really build your resume, build your cover letter, and then look at career choices. And those are the 3 big options for K&E. So we're trying to put together a separate document still to really outline what K&E can look like. But I would take the COM structured and go from there. So that's COM.